Try the computer. All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for being here tonight for the team call. I'm excited to share some things with you guys tonight, to give you some social media 101 basics. We're going to start in the new year, but actually this month, with once a month having a call on social media, because it is a huge part of what we do, but it doesn't have to be a huge part of our day. And that's my hope for the call tonight, is I just want to give some basics. I'm not going to cover like how to craft a good post. If you want that, we had a great call Angie did on story brand, or not story brand, had stories that stick. Sorry, wrong book. And we can do a call on that in the future. So, but what I want to talk about is just taking some of the pressure off for things to be perfect and to give you some basics. And what I'm going to do at the end is I really want to open it up for questions. And I want to have coaches that are here to share, because I'm not going to cover everything tonight. I had this great idea today and then I didn't have time to execute it. But I think in the new year, what I might do is grab some posts that I see that you guys are doing to share like some really good content, or maybe I'll start sharing it even in the team page. Because I think it's just, I learned from watching y'all. Like, I learn good content from people on social media who are coaches and non-coaches, where I'm like, oh, that's really good. I should do something similar to that, right? Not in a comparison of, oh, why don't I do that? But more like, that's my style. I could do that, And so I will tell you that if you have questions about like, well, how can I share about Shakeology in a way that's not icky or this or that? Look at the coaches on your team that are doing well in their business and look at their social media and how they share, because that's kind of like a clue for me. If someone's sharing well and doing well in their business, then a lot of times it's because there's consistency and clarity in their message. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but I'm not going to talk about like the ins and outs of a good post. That could be a totally different call. We would be here for a long time for that. And I also think that in the end, the purpose of our social media is not just to write the perfect post, because our business is built through connection, which if you're doing the 100 seeds or learning that, it's through genuine connection. A couple things I want to mention before we start. For this month right now, like we have a calendar posted for can't talk. Focus. I almost said a bad word unintentionally. Like, what was that? A focus for inviting. And so we're kind of in the middle of the month, right? And you're like, well, my group started last week and the next group doesn't start till January and Christmas is in this month. And so no one's going to get started. So here's what I want to offer you. I'm reaching out to people right now and inviting them to January, and then saying to them, if you want some support in the middle, you can hop in my holiday group. So you can start inviting now, because shipping delays are a thing. Our company is based out of California, which is like the crazy town of restrictions. So I'm sure that's part of why they're having so much trouble with shipping. I'm guessing. I might not be right, but I think that's probably part of it. So start now. And I shared an example in the team about just telling someone, like, I'm starting to plan my groups, and we're going to have a group for 9-week Control Freak, and then we will have our general like wellness challenge. So talk about it now, and then tell them, if you need a place in the middle, here's a group that I have going on, and maybe offer to dig into the nutrition portion as they wait for their package to arrive, you know what I mean? And really help them with nutrition now. Like, I really want us to help our clients break from this mentality of like, we have these seasons. Someone posted this the other day. It was very funny. It was like, I really want to lose weight, but there was Thanksgiving and then Christmas and then Valentine's Day and then February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Like, it's because there's something every month. Like, so why not now, right? And so just to consider that. And of course, inviting to coaching. We had a great coach webinar that we did on Monday night. The recording is up. I will get it posted in the group, the team page tonight. And it just, in the group, I talked about, in the call, I talked about why it's such a great time to get started, because people are looking for solutions in January, and we have a great solution to offer. And so it's a great time, especially because everything we have is digital and there's so much uncertainty. I kind of hate that word, but with gyms and everything. So don't feel like you have to pause until after Christmas. Think now of planting the seeds, because after Christmas is when a lot of people are like, I got to do something. And if you reach out to them now, they might be like, I don't even want to think about it. But then you follow up with them after Christmas, and we're going to have a flash sale after Christmas, then they're more likely to be like, now I can think about it. So I just wanted to mention that to you guys. Okay, so here's the thing with social media, your basic strategy with social media is to add value and to connect and serve. And there's different ways of adding value. You can make people laugh, you can share a tip, you can share about like the parts of your life that are beautiful because people need to see that. You can connect through your story, you can connect through your point of view, and you can serve in everything you write. And so it's kind of a good checkpoint when you're writing a post to ask, like, does this add value? And if it's a silly meme and it makes people laugh, people need to laugh. That's value. It doesn't always have to be a novel. I've had to learn that because I write long posts. So I have a lot of funny memes I keep on my phone to just throw up like once a week to make people like laugh, or post a picture and ask people how to do your hair. Holy moly. Everybody has an opinion on that. My stepmom that doesn't even vote or comment on anything, I call her today and she's like, so what color are you going to do your hair? And I was like, how did you know? Oh, you're looking at my social media, even though you don't comment on anything. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but also you want your social media, like it used to be taught, and it's still true, that it's like your storefront. So if you were to own imagine you're in this really cute downtown area, there's a coffee shop in the corner and all these little boutiques, and you have your own, and you would come up with a fun sign to put over it that's kind of about you. And when people walk inside, everything in that store would represent you. Okay. That's kind of what your social media is. But it doesn't represent you in a way where it's look at me, look at me, look at me. It represents you in a way of, for example, if you came into my storefront, there would be books and coffee mugs and cute little thrifted trinkets that like make you feel comfortable when you're sitting in your house and they're sitting on a shelf. And then there would be like conversation because people that work there would be talking to others, and there would be like little things that represent things I love that make other people feel safe and happy. So it's not like you wouldn't walk in my store and see a bunch of cutouts of Kelly. You would walk in my store and see things that I love and value that I want to then share with the world, right? And so I think a lot of times on social media, we're nervous to share because we don't want it to be, look at me, but it's more like, look at the blessing that can be you. Look at what this is doing that can be for you. Look at what God is doing that is for you. And so our posts want to go from like me to we, so people feel like they're connecting to us. So the first thing I want you to do is get a pen out, and I want you to think, if you had a storefront, what are 5 things that are you, like your brand? Okay, and I'm going to give you a little guidance on this. One of them needs to be health and wellness because you're a coach. Okay, but these are things, if you're like, well, I don't even know, what are the things you talk to your friends about? What are the things that you're really like someone talks about and you're like, you want to get in on that conversation, or you like to read about, or you like to learn about or do? What are the things that have really helped you in your life? And take a moment and write down those things. So for me, they're faith, books, motherhood, wellness and self-care. And then I wrote soul care, which is like the things that help you understand your value as loved by God. So take a moment and write down those 5 things.
If you can't think of yours, ask us and we'll tell you what we think yours are.
Yeah.
Sometimes that helps. Like when I can't write a post, I'll ask people, what should I write a post about? And they're like, write a post about that one thing you were talking. Like, I'd forgotten about it. Like it doesn't, but it's stuff that's normal to you and common that other people might or might not be writing posts or thinking about or talking about.
Like, what do people ask you about when they ask you things? People ask me for books all the time. Do you have a book on this? Do you have a book on that? Because they know I love to read, right? They ask me to pray for them. I get a lot of prayer requests. And then I get asked questions about how the heck do you run a house with 7 kids, which I forget that I do that. So I'm trying to share that more intentionally because I do feel like I'm sort of surviving. But yeah, no, that's really good. And share yours in the chat once you have them written down because it might help others. And maybe you start with 3 and then you grow to 5. You know, it's okay. Or maybe you have 6. That's okay too. There's not like a rule. Prayer life, yeah. Nutrition, good. Yeah, mental health, yep. Because I've shared about my miscarriages, I get a lot of people who reach out to me for that. You know what I mean? Like walking through that. I know Angie's helped a lot of women with postpartum, health and wellness, dogs, books, good restaurants, mental health. Yes. Finances. That's good. Personal development books, faith, healthy eating lifestyle with food intolerance. That's really helpful because Crystal, because so many people don't even know how to navigate that. Yes. Yeah, me too, Sarah. She helped me with postpartum too. Post and prenatal fitness. So like when you start writing these things down, you might think like faith, but then you can like take some time like after tonight and think about all the things. Like maybe it's telling part of my conversion, it's how I pray every day, it's struggles I have with, you know what I mean, and start to write under each category like subcategories because and keep it somewhere, because when you're having a day where you're like, I don't know, look at it. Like what is something from there that can spark like something you can share. And like Angie said, some of the things are the crazy like things that you might think are stupid that people like actually really, when I share my chore chart, people flip. It's a whiteboard but like, oh, you know, and I'm like, oh, this adds value, you know what I mean? Or like when you go grocery shopping, like if it's nutrition, sharing like some fun finds that you got at Trader Joe's or whatever, like it's just a way for you to become real and share. It's like hospitality, so to speak. Your business and journey is a part of who you are. So you want to make sure that your page is not an infomercial. Okay. It's not like the 21 Day Fix commercial that comes on at 11:30, which I saw one night when I was in the mountains with my kids and we were watching regular TV. And my daughter was like, do people really do that? And I said, that's what I do. And she's like, oh, sorry, Mom. I was like, well, I mean, I don't do that, but that's the company I work for. And she's like, yeah, but you don't do that. I'm like, you're right. I don't do an infomercial, right? It's not an infomercial. It's not Beachbody flyers left and right and spam of like Beachbody. So there's like pictures of you and your family and then 9-week control freak, like graffiti wall with Autumn and her glory. Okay. That's like what you want it to be is like your family, like what you prayed with this morning, and then a picture of like you, like Beth shared when she finished her 5K, right? Or how Andrea's been sharing like her workouts with 21 Day Fix every day, and she's talking about it, and she's got her Christmas tree in the background. You know what I mean? Or like if Megan shares a post of like her Shakeology, but she's telling a story about like going in the carpool line. I don't even know if you did this. I'm totally making this up. She's going in the carpool line and instead of going through the drive-through or grabbing the brownies on the way out the door, she made this and it's really made a difference in her life. And she's just thankful for the community that helps support her to make it like, you know, better choices. Like, so it's not an infomercial, but it is sharing a product or, and something that's helping you. Just like you could share how everything but the bagel seasoning changed your life. If only I could get a commission off that, right? I use it on everything. Like Courtney has a reaction to it and it made me so sad because I use it on everything. Like, so you want your page to be like a magazine. I don't read Magnolia, but I know a lot of people that like love Joanna Gaines. And I've seen her magazine and I've seen her books and I've seen the section of Target that's her, right? Her brand. That's what you want. And it's not going to look like Joanna Gaines if that's not what you're into, right? It's going to be your own style and it doesn't have to be complicated, but it's kind of like a magazine or blog on how to live the life that you want to help other people live. And the reason you want to help them live it is because you're living it. And these are the things helping you. And so that's not just doing the workout. That's whatever other things are that are, if you have a date night every week, talk about it every week, talk about your marriage, talk about parenting teenagers, talk about learning, like, and some of these topics might be my family, but the area might change. And that's good because you're growing and sharing. And it feels strange because you might think like, but you're not going, check yourself. You're not going to social media to make someone like make you feel like a good mom. You're going to social media because you want to help the mom that doesn't feel like a good mom. Right. And so when you're writing things, these topics and things you're thinking of, just ask yourself, is this serving, connecting, building belief, adding value? And if it is, then share it if it's true to you, right? You don't, and what is, the more you share, and I don't mean 5, 6 times a day, meaning consistently once a day, the more you start to feel like you know what you want to share. And people start to feel like they know you. And that way, when you connect with them, your job is then to get to know them because they really already know you, and they feel like they know you. And that's a gift. Like, you ever have that where you like see someone you've like followed them on Instagram and like you really respect them and like them, and then you meet them in person and then you're like, all about them, but they don't know anything about you. So you feel kind of weird. But if they're a really good, authentic person, a lot of times they just ask you questions, and that's the connecting piece, right? I know at She Works His Ways retreat with Narrow. I mean, I met so many people from there that I'd sat on webinars with, and I'm like, oh, you don't know me, but I know you. And then they were like, okay, calm down. But it was like, I'm so glad I knew them. And then they just asked me questions, and they got to know me, and that's what we get to do. So how do you do it, right? My goal for you is to post once a day on your page. And if you want to take off Sunday, take off Sunday. Like if you miss a day, the world will not end. The algorithm will not ban you. You will not lose business. I promise. God is bigger than any algorithm. Okay. We have to be smart business people, but we also can't be like, I didn't even post today. I have to throw something up there. That's being a slave to social media. And I don't ever want that for any of you. I want you to be a steward of it, not a slave to it. Right. So each week, one of your posts needs to be about your fitness journey. One of your posts needs to be about the business. If you're working the business, whether it's talking about team call, something you learn, talking about what this business has done for you. It's okay to say that you are so grateful this week to be able to help with the grocery bill because of COVID, it's gone up and your business was able to make up the difference. Put the income disclaimer, but it's okay to share that because there are people that would speak to who need an answer. And if we don't share it, they might go to work outside of the home and not be able to be with their kids, right? And you want one of your posts a week to be a call to action of whatever you're inviting to or promoting, if it's a free group or a challenge group or coaching. And you can pick what days those are that you do those. But I think it's smart to try to put them on the same day every week because it helps you kind of get in a system. But if you're like, I hate systems, then just make a checklist and make sure once a week you've done them. The other 4 posts should be from your other pillars. Like it could be about teaching online. It could be about homeschooling. It could be about, trying to have your kids home with like online learning when you're not homeschooling. It could be, I feel like it's hard now because we're all home all the time. So it's like, what are some topics that are all about the house, right? It could be about being in the house all the time and trying to figure out what to do. It could be about your morning prayer routine, how you decorate for Christmas, traditions you have with your family. You get to decide those things. A funny meme to just make people laugh, asking for people for like, what's your favorite cookie recipe for Christmas? Like just engaging people. The other 4 posts are really what you want to build engagement, because your fitness post, it'll get some engagement. Your business post will get a little less because it's vulnerable, guys, not because it's not good. And then your call to action will probably get the least engagement. So what helps those is that the other 4 are the trust building, so that when you talk to people in the messages, they know what you do, they know you, and they're not threatened by the conversation you start with them. So 1 post a day. And like I said, if you need to take off a Sunday, because like for me, I'm trying to like take a break for 24 hours from social media. So I might not get a post up on a Sunday. And if I don't, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I know a lot of really successful coaches who like take social media breaks. So I'm not gonna worry about it, right? But I would say, we have worksheets in the team, but you could just get a piece of paper, write Monday, Sunday through Saturday, and plan. Like, I'm going to do my call to actions on Sunday. I'm going to do this on Tuesday. I'm going to do this on Thursday. You get to pick what day you do them, and just stick to it for a month and kind of pay attention. And then if you want to change it up, because I always change stuff. If you come to my house, the furniture is never the same thing more than once. But give it a month and then move it around. And the other thing is, post when it's good for you. You do not have to post at 6 a.m. you prayed because you prayed at 6 a.m. You can post at noon about your morning of prayer if you need to keep your phone off until noon. That's okay. If you need to wait till night, post at night. Pay attention to this. Like, I would say, if you post at noon a couple days and you post at night a couple days, and you notice more people that you connect with are on at night, then do your post at night. Like, you can change that up, but don't feel this pressure of like, I gotta do it by 9 a.m. or else blah, you know? And then with stories, I would say there's this concept that we have to be on and we should do a whole call on stories, but there's a concept, if you do stories, you have to be on all day long. What I have found from people that I really admire, who are coaches and then some that are not, is they post usually twice a day with a segment, like in the morning and then later in the afternoon. So it just pops up twice, but they don't post all day long. And each segment is like a little bit of their workout, and then they hop on and they talk about their day. Like, I have a lot of friends that are in other MLMs, and like, they'll talk about homeschooling, they'll share a picture of their Christmas decorating, and then they might talk a little bit about their product, like a commercial break in the middle of their day. They're doing their makeup, or they're making their shake, or they're putting their oils and diffusing them. And so it fits in, but it's not all day long. So I would say, whatever you decide you want to share, just be consistent with it. Whenever I work out, I share a clip of my workout so that people know I'm working out. Like right now I'm doing Lift 4, so 4 days a week I post my workout, and I share a little bit in my story about it, and now I'm trying to share more about our Christmas traditions in my stories, because it's the season. But that's really informal. You don't have to follow the pillars in your story. It's more like, here's a snippet of what I'm doing, and just adding value and talking to people. And like I said, we can do a whole other call on that. But you don't need to be doing them every hour. Like, you really don't. I mean, most 3 times a day is totally sufficient. Like, if they're spread out, So the plan with social media is consistency is key. To try to, and then after you post, the other thing I'll tell you is the posts are quality over quantity. So it's like writing a good post over having multiple. And then the other thing is taking time when you're done to, after you post, to have about 10 minutes where you go onto other people that you're connecting with and engage in their posts. I'm reading a devotional study called Essential Holiness, and Elizabeth Foss talks about how on social media, instead of just randomly scrolling, pick like 5 people each day to go on something they wrote, read it, and give a kind, engaging reply, and then hop off. 2 things happen. You just added value, so social media didn't all become about your likes. And second, by doing that, it actually does help your content get moved because you're adding value to people. That's actually what the algorithm looks for. Instead of checking, did anybody like my post? And I've done that. That's why I'm saying it. To take time and just have, like, make a list and pick 2 people or 5 people to just go add value on their content, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, for 10 minutes. And not a heart and a great, like, that's awesome. I'm the queen of emojis because I feel like a lot of times I'm in a rush, but I'm trying now to actually give a comment like, this was helpful, or I love how you said this, because that's what's going to build genuine connection. And when you do genuine connection, you don't need to do 10 connects. You could do 2 to 3 genuine connects a day, and that's going to build your friendship and trust with people. Social media is there to serve and build trust. And then our individual conversations is where the business building happens, because we decide when we're talking to people whether or not this is for them or not, and it's not about us, right? A couple last minute thoughts that I had that I just want to share. And then if anyone has things to add, I'd love for people to add, and I'll look at the chat too. A few things on aesthetics. Number one, your profile photo needs to be you. It needs to be bright. It does not have to have a filter, but it needs to be your face, not this big of your entire family, not your dog. Dogs are cute, but it needs to be you, right? And your cover photo on Facebook, if you don't want to make one on Canva, it just needs to be something that, like, some people right now have the Advent wreath that has the lights. Some people put a photo of their family. I have a collage that I made, and I don't change it out but like once a year, right? But it just needs to be clean and represent you and fit. So if you put something up and it's like everyone's heads are cut off here of your family, you need to resize it. Because it is a storefront. If you went to someone's like front door of their store and like half the logo was cut off, you'd be like, it's like weird. Your bio and on Instagram and Facebook should be short, and it should be like a mission statement. What do you do? Like mine says, like, I help overwhelmed moms break free from the lie of unworthiness and develop a life of self-care and to care for themselves in their home or something. Like, it's like, whatever you do, just short, like, I help blah blah blah, I blah blah blah. It's been hammered in my head by a lot of things. You don't need to have all the emojis and stuff like that. You just want it clear, so when people come and they see what you do, they see you do something, right? When you're doing pictures, it's okay to use filters, but don't filter yourself so much that it doesn't look like you anymore, so that if someone saw you in real life, they would be shocked what you look like. Okay. Like, I'm sorry. I'm seeing apps now where someone's like, take your face and put it on another person's body. Or there's a person who already looks beautiful, and then they're like, phew, and they have like J-Lo face with like Mariah Carey hair. And I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, every once in a while, put an unfiltered photo. Like, people want to see your naked face. It's okay to use filters. But Lightroom by Adobe is a free app that I really like because it has some built in, and I bought some presets that I use because they all look the same. So I like but they're not like Facetune where it like gets rid of all the. Just be careful with that, because it's okay, but I just think it's good to have the color to brighten things when they're dark and to like accentuate and make like stuff like pop. That's okay, but just, you don't want it to be like adding makeup every time you're taking a picture of yourself, like, because you're beautiful, and if you're promoting that beauty, you don't need to be putting like, I mean, I use the fun filter with the eyelashes on stories, and it makes me laugh when I have my glasses on because it makes me look like a zombie, like I have cataracts because you can't see my pupils. But do you want to see my naked face? Yes, I do. Oh, you said that. That's hilarious. And the last thing is, play around with your pictures, but make sure a good bit of them are you. They don't have to be selfies. Like, I am not great with like posting like, I do pictures of my face and I do pictures of stuff. I'm not great with knowing how to take pictures of me like reading a book, or like, that's weird for me to take those pictures. But if you have time, or like next time we're on retreat or you're together, taking some of them, they're good. Like, prop your camera on your shake, push it to the end of your table, and sit by your journal like this and take a picture. We think it's silly, but it's actually simple and good marketing. And it's not like this all the time, right? It's just variety. And so, I mean, I do the same one where I'm like hunched over because I have this window I can prop it on where I get good light. So that's why all the pictures are me like this. But you don't have to spend hours doing it. But like, Courtney Bell made a joke that, and it's funny though, she gives her phone to her young boys, and when they go out, they would take her pictures, and she used some of them, like, and she talk about it. So, but make sure they're of you. Like, people need to see you, and don't be ashamed of you. And I used to I didn't know what a selfie was until, I didn't even know how to use a camera on a phone until I started coaching. Like, I had a I had an old BlackBerry Pearl. Anyway, so, but if you have questions about this, ask. But like, take some time and just take pictures. Like today Eli was doing something cute, so I took a picture. I'm not using it today, but I just take them throughout the day. And then the ones that you really like that you take, save them to reuse. And the other thing I'll say is when your Facebook memories pop up, read them, and if the post is really good, reuse it that day. Change it up, like the content to match today, but reuse content.
But they go away. You can't see yet. Like if you see one that you like, don't think I can get to that tomorrow. It's gone.
Yeah.
I've done that, and I'm like, wait, no. I wanted that post for today. I already had posted, and I wanted that one for today, and it was gone.
Yeah.
So if you like it, copy it and paste it somewhere so you can use it for the next day, because it won't come up for another year. And unless you want to scroll back a whole year,
right,
you gotta.
So the notes section of my phone, I copy and paste, you can't see it, all of the words. And so I have like 40 posts saved in here. It's probably why my memory is almost full.
Yeah, just so you know.
I'm glad you said that, because it is true, because I have done that.
I'm like, oh. What?
Yeah, and that's good too. You can have a Facebook group with you and your spouse, and then you can save the post in there. Yeah, infographics. So I want to open it up for questions or anybody that wants to add. Like, I think some people had an idea, but I didn't want to get distracted reading. So you have tips or things that have helped you. And if you tell me, I hope this has been helpful. Like, it was just, Steph and I met this week, and I told her, like, I'm talking like Popeye. What's wrong with my grammar? I don't want to be a slave to my phone, and I don't want to be a slave to my computer, and I don't want to be a slave to the algorithm, but I also want to be smart, right? I don't want to just wing it and be like hoping that it works. So the middle is like, social media is there for you to serve people. It's not there for you to be a slave to it. And so if you actually make time to actually at least plan your pillars and at least plan what days you're going to post the like fitness, team, and call to action posts, and you want to kind of fill the rest in real life, real time, that's fine. That's going to take your business to the next level, because if people only see you work out once a month and they only have a call to action once a month and they only see something about some business like every 3 months, then it doesn't make sense to them. And it's okay to talk about what you do. You don't need to be vague. Like, share you do coaching and why you love working with Beachbody. There was a push for a while to be curiosity marketing, but that has led to like lack of trust. So now if you talk about why you love working out with Beachbody and why coaching has changed your life as a Beachbody coach, they'll remember you're a Beachbody coach versus, well, that person does some fitness thing, but that person does plexus and they talk about plexus. There's a way to do it that's like not icky and infomercial, but not sneaky. So anyway, anybody else want to add anything?
Yeah, I was going to say, just to piggyback off that, because we had talked about it, that whole curiosity marketing pitch really helped for those of us that don't like being icky salesy. But then what happened was we were so vague that people were like, well, what are you doing? And we would beat around the bush. And then eventually what happened is we lost our voice and saying what we did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there was a season where that definitely helped, but now, like,
yeah,
if you go to a restaurant or if you go to a retail store and you find something that you really like, you're not going to be like, oh, well, this fashion clothing store, like, no, you're going to say, I went to Target and I got this thing. Like, we're not going to beat around the bush. So
yeah, totally true. Crystal, do you have a question?
Yeah. What is Canva? You said something about Canva.
Oh, girl. Woo. Sorry.
Friend, Canva is like, so it's a free platform that you can use. You can pay for like the premium stuff where you get unlimited images and graphics and stuff, but you don't need it. I don't even have it. It's basically where any graphic all the graphics that we have for all of our team stuff, that's where they're all created, is in Canva. and it stores it like a library. So if you ever need to edit or tweak anything, it keeps everything right there. So you don't have to be the most tech savviest person in the entire world. You don't. They have all of the like templates and the graphics and fonts, like literally everything that you need to where you can just plug and play.
So can I take anything that I find and like put it all together the way I want it?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay.
So I will tell you, it is like the black hole of time. So like work your power hour, then do your Canva. Because I will spend like hours not even knowing because it's fun. And then I'm like, oh, I got to do my invites, but I just made 20 graphics. Like, but it is very user friendly. And so it's great for cover photos for groups. It's great for like your header for your Facebook page and things like that. And like Steph said, you can swap stuff out really easy. It's good for recognition graphics and stuff like that. But I would say just watch your time, because Angie makes a joke. She's like, you can go make it on Canva, because I'm like, oh, I'll make one. All the devotionals and PDFs and things I make, I put on there too. It's a great tool though, because I think it's very user friendly. For sure.
I put in the app that if everybody send their pictures to you, you'd make them headers for their Facebook pages.
No, I will not.
I did. I put that in the chat while you were talking.
5 years ago, I would have been like, yes, but I have learned the art of no.
Well, I'm glad I asked, because I was literally working on something, trying to figure out how I can manipulate it all together without like paying a lot of money to somebody for doing it. But hey, now I know. Thank you.
It's very easy. It's and what's nice is, like Steph said, once you make it once, like I made like a header for like my Facebook page, and it has little photo cutouts where I swap the photos out. I don't have to redo it every time. I just change out the pictures. So it saves a lot of time for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I was just like, Canva. Like Sarah said, she married her husband because he Canva Premium. That's awesome. Anybody else have any questions or anything you want to add? Megan, I think you wrote something.
Yeah, I can share.
Yeah.
So I'm like I struggle with organization because it intimidates me. I don't like being like told I have to do something, because yeah. So like when I follow a posting schedule, I'll be like, I don't really know what to say today about the business. Like every Sunday, that sounds like so much commitment. So I had the idea just now when you were talking about it to like make a list, like 7 different post genres, I guess you could say. And like, you could, multiple of them could be personal things, like your pillars. But that way you have that list and you can just check off that you hit all of the topics in one given week. Because if anybody else is like me, just to have that little flexibility to kind of go with what's on your heart helps. But I know that the structure also helps you. I really have been struggling with posting, so it just kind of gave me an idea. So I thought
I love that idea. You can put it on your, like, whatever your checklist is used for work.
Yeah, your tracker.
Yeah, like I think it and I'm like you in a sense of, I like having the topics there, so I have them on my tracker for days, but if I don't do it that day, I just X off the one I did, so that by the end of the week I know what I have left. Does that make sense? So it's kind of the same concept, because I'm the same way. When you tell me to do something, I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm 40. How old am I?
Well, mine's less of rebellion as it is like, I can't do it.
But it also helps. It helps to have it in front of you, because I realized like I wasn't sharing enough about the business.
Yeah.
But like with running, I was sharing the run, like the 30-day breakaway, but I wasn't sharing enough about the team. Right. So yeah, no, that's a great tip. I like that a lot. 40, 100 years old. I'm like, I'm 41, but my birthday's on Monday, and then I'll be 42, and I still feel like I'm 22. So that's okay. Yes, vision boards. Oh, we should do that in January. A vision board party. Anybody else have anything to add, or tips that help them, or questions that we can help with? Yes. Angie can lead the vision board.
No, I don't want to lead the vision boards. But I do want to say, I think that there's a like push in social media to like tell us that these are not real friends, or these are not real connections, or this doesn't really matter. And I really think that that's like the evil one trying to get in our way of our relationships and our ability to care for people. And so this is our way to reach out. And I really think that I see lots of stuff that's like, those relationships on social media are not real. They're not going to really help you. It's not really a friendship. You're not going to get the same stuff. Sure, it's different because you might be 5 hours from me or 12 hours from me, but it's still a friendship. And I think that that's important to remember when we're doing our social media posts and when we're doing our stories and when we're doing our power hour. This is a real thing. These are real connections, and that can really change someone's life.
Yes.
If you're consistent and you do the stuff. And there are times where I'm like, right now, I have not been consistent for the last month. I need to step up my game. I have big goals, and I haven't been doing the stuff I need to do to hit those goals. But I really do think that this is our way of making a difference from our homes with other people that are so far away. But people are going to tell you it's not a real connection, and it is. And that your post doesn't matter, and they do.
Yeah.
And so just putting yourself out there is hard, and it's not easy to start with, especially, but it doesn't get a lot easier because sometimes it feels like I've said the same stuff 100 times. Why do I have to say it again? I do, because I have different people and new friends and new followers. And so it's important for us to keep sharing, even if we feel like we've said the same stuff 1,000 times. Like, I haven't shared about my postpartum stuff for like 6 months because it's been a while since I had postpartum, but I still have a lot of stuff that I could say about it, and I've forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to go back to some of those things that were important and re-say them, because there's new people that will hear them and new people in places in their lives that will hear them. So you never know where you're going to hit someone. So when you say something and when you put it out there on social media, it's important, and you're adding value to someone's life, whether they tell you that you are or not.
Yes. No, that's so true. Thank you for sharing that. I will tell you guys like exactly what Angie said. And I think that's why like having your pillars, they're broad, and then kind of keeping some tally of ideas under it, that'll change by your season. And that's good. Like even your fitness will change by your season. But I mean, some of my closest friends are y'all on my team through this, and that's why quality over quantity, doing 2 to 5 super good connections a day is going to push your business way further in the long run than 10 to 15 because you're trying to like 10x people. Because like today getting my hair done, Julie, who does my hair, I told her something about writing, and she's like, yeah, I always love reading everything you write. She doesn't like anything that I post. Like I've never seen her like or comment a word, but she's like, I see it all the time. Like she knew stuff going on in my life before I even had to tell her. So don't assume, like, don't let the vanity metrics trip you up. I just think like Elizabeth Aldrich followed me for 2 years and never liked a single thing I posted before she reached out to me. And some people will reach out to you and some won't, but that's why the 100 seeds is such an important, like, to keep. And even if it takes 3 months to fill out 100, that's okay, but just to plant the seeds and to know like your life has value. And there are people that will make fun. I mean, some of Courtney's family makes fun of me about, oh, are you going to put this on social media? I don't care. I don't do it for them. It used to hurt my feelings. I'm not going to lie. I don't do it for them. I do it for the girl that just joined my challenge group when she wrote her story. And I was like, that was where I was when I started. You know what I mean? And that's who you do it for. And so, sorry, my son just started talking. I didn't know he was there. He was like Mr. Deeds. Anyway, that was really good. Thank you. Yes, it's ultimately for God. And that's why I was thinking, like, if you had a magazine, or if you had, like, think of it like a magazine or a blog, and you're putting it together, Like, what are all the pieces that would be you? And sometimes it's something small, like a daisy, you know, like Allison has daisies in her backyard and she'll send me a picture of it because I love daisies, you know, and some of it, like Sarah Kroger's known for avocados, you know what I mean? But some of it might be a book or a coffee mug or homeschool or dogs or whatever, little kids, like you'll discover, and that might shift as your interests shift. You're not married to the method, just the mission that you have, right? And so, but this was good. I hope this helped everyone. I just don't want you to feel like you have to be glued to your phone all day. You do need to be intentional with your time because you got to like talk to people. You can't just post something and expect like 100 people to sign up. Like, and that's what's different about what we do is we actually touch people and say, you want to talk? Instead of here's a product, come order it and I'll help you use it. But it's like, this is different. So people who grow a following quickly is because they are bold and sharing, and it inspires me. Yeah. They do get shade, but it doesn't stop them. And people who need them are drawn to them and share them. Yes. And I will tell you this last thing, and then if anybody else, or we can pray. I follow very few Beachbody coaches that are not like teammates. And the few that I follow because their method inspires me. And the majority of them share 90% of their life. And then they're bold about Beachbody. They talk about how they use BOD. They talk about what's going on in their challenge group. They talk about what it's done for their family. But I also know about their dog and their kids and their like what they like to cook and how they met their spouse, and you know what I mean? And a good friend of mine who's very successful with Beauty Counter, I watched her business skyrocket in the last year, and she writes about scripture and her husband and her children and her homeschooling, and then she promotes her products. And that's really changed how I'm like, thank you, because that's what I want to do, right? And so like Megan said, it's that confidence piece of saying like, yeah, I'm a Beachbody coach. Ta-da! Like, you know, I'm not ashamed of Beachbody. Like, you know, and I think curiosity marketing kind of, like you were saying, Steph, like for some of us, it kind of hurt our confidence a little bit. So, but we'll do more calls on social media. So like, as we go into 2021, things that you want specific help with, we could do a whole call on Canva. Steph, that's right up your alley. You and Sarah could do it together. And we could do a call on stories, and we could do calls on writing posts. And we, you know, because social media is important, I do want to take time once a month to really focus on it. And as you bring coaches in, it's going to help them learn too. So does anyone have anything else before we pray? We got to take a picture so we can post it.
I just say one thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had somebody that she still follows me, and I could see that she could view my posts, but she would never comment on them. And she's been doing this for months. And out of nowhere, I got a message from her that said, "You truly inspire me, and I hope you keep doing what you're doing." Yay. So I reached out to her, and crickets. Like, I got nothing. So I waited a little while, and then I reached out to her again, and I kind of changed up a little bit, and I talked to Steph a little bit about my verbiage. And I got the good old, I don't have the money or the time, and, you know, it's kind of like put myself out there. But she continues to follow me. But my whole point is just saying that, like what you said, that people do follow you and see your stuff, whether they say anything or not. They're there. She's been watching all of my stuff. So that's a good inspiration too.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. That you're 100% right. And it's like what Angie said too, like, I think the enemy gets in our head and makes us think that like it's something we did wrong. I'm going to tell you now, 99.9% of the time, it's because they have some baggage they've got to work through, and they need you to be patient with them and believe in them. And 0.1% of the time, yeah, you're going to screw up and make someone mad and get blocked. Like I've been blocked by people. I never intentionally. You can ask Megan Kaufman. I had her check this person's page for like 4 months because this girl blocked me. I had no idea what I did. I read Megan all the messages I sent her because I was like, I didn't do anything, but something must have triggered in her, and she blocked me. And that will happen, and it still stings, obviously. But it's so small So don't let that hold you back. I'm so proud of you for like continuing to reach out to her, because like I was the person who did that to the person who invited me, like ghost, like, you know, and I think they need to know, like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm here to wait for you, you know?
Well, and I was that person with Steph. Like, I've known Steph for a long time, Steph, and I followed her for years and just watching everything and loving everything. And I'm like, I could do this. And finally I took the leap this year, February, and
Awesome.
Joined everything. But yeah, I was that person.
Yes. Well, usually that's what we attract, and then we quickly forget that that's what we did. I mean, I do, where I'm like, and like, oh wait, I did that. You know, oh, I thought it was too expensive. Oh, I said that I chew my food. Like, oh, I did that. And that actually makes really good social media posts. So thank you for sharing that. Well, guys, this was great. I appreciate you guys being here tonight and everyone adding some feedback. And stay tuned for next week. We had a call planned for Wednesday night, but I just found out Summer is doing a movie night on Thursday night to watch the Brene Brown documentary on Netflix as a team. And so since it's the week, and then the week after that, Steph and I have a very cool God wink call planned. No, I haven't taken a picture yet. Hang on, I won't forget. So I think I'm going to not do the Wednesday call, because I think it would be cool to watch that documentary together and to tap in with the bigger team family, and especially because it's about courage, which is a big thing that we need to tap into. And I know it means a lot to her because that's the name of her team. And then, so I'm going to rework that for next week, and we will still do a back office basics. I know you want all the back office stuff, but we'll just do that in the new year. And then the following week, Steph and I are going to talk about kind of transitioning out of 2020 into 2021. We're cooking up some ideas. But let's take a picture, and then you can post it. So everybody get out their phones so we can all take a picture. And Beth, I love that your like clip of face, like for your profile, is like the perfect photo for like these pictures, because she's like this and it looks like she's really there, but it's her clip. I always get confused, and then you don't move for a while, and then I realize like you're really not there. It's okay. All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. All right, sweet. Let's close in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this amazing, amazing group of women. Lord, I'm so thankful for the gift it is that you have given us with coaching. I'm grateful for the opportunity we have to help others. Lord, I ask that you would stir up in everyone here and in those listening to the recording, what are the places of our lives and the pieces of our story that you want to turn into a testimony to help others? And give us the words, Lord, of what to write when we post. Give us the confidence to share boldly, and then give us the grace to surrender the rest of the day and let you work the algorithm for us. God, help us to connect with people online and offline, to really serve and lift up one another. Whenever insecurities pop in our mind, Lord, and we're tempted to doubt that what we're doing is working, or that and make this about us, prompt us and tap us on the shoulder so we can just renounce that thought, God, and help us to just help people through these holidays, and help people know that there's hope, and help people know that there is a way where they can find friendship and connection through community in our communities. And put the names on our hearts, Lord, of those you want us to serve and reach out to and bless, whether it's in a group or just checking in on them. Continue to bless our efforts. Multiply the little we have every day, Lord, as we give our best to you, and bless it to make it enough. We give you our goals, our dreams. We give you our fears and worries. We lift up everyone who is struggling right now in this season, for those that we promise to pray for. And God, I just am so grateful for this team. I'm grateful for all of the teams that are here, all of us collectively gathered, and for what you have in store for us. But also, Lord, I'm so grateful for what you've already done. We pray all these things in your most holy name. Amen. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Thank you for being here.